What's going on, roleplayers? It's the Bard here and welcome back to the corner. So guys, I've missed you and I hope you've missed me too. It's not been an easy month in the Bardic household, but what is easy is making fun and exciting characters. So I thought I'd like to get back to the way I used to be and bring you one of these classics. So everyone is excited for, or as the kids say, hyped for Mortal Kombat 11, and as we look forward to the transition, we look back fondly on those days when we had MKX to keep us entertained.
Nasty.
So as we look forward to what will undoubtedly be an amazing new gaming experience, I thought I would bring back the classic Drow Bard style of video to bring you some crazy character creations with everyone's favourite A-lister, Johnny Cage. So even if you don't know this character, or even if gaming isn't your thing, it doesn't matter, you can still have a lot of fun with this. You can make it your own and really experiment with some of the parts that are available. So the parts you're going to need for this are Way of the Sun Soul level 6. You're also looking at Battle Master 3 levels, because why not, there's some really great techniques in there. And I also wanted to add in 3 levels of War Domain, because there's a couple of specific spells that I really want, which helps bring the whole build together. So Sun Soul gets you the Radiant Sunbolt, and I really wanted this for Johnny Cage's fireball attacks. Essentially what you're getting is the equivalent of your unarmed damage, but at range. However, what I also really like is the ability to burn key points in order to get a second Radiant Sunbolt. In the main game you can burn your meter in order to get a double fireball attack. So too with this, you can gain an additional Radiant Sunbolt as a bonus action by spending a key point and then throwing out 2 attacks instead of just 1. So that's a great start already. Alternatively, if you don't like Sun Soul, then you can go with something else like Open Hand, but you will then need to pick up a feat like maybe Magic Initiate in order to get a Firebolt cantrip or something if you still want to have those Fireball attacks. Cage also has some very interesting special moves like his Shadow Kick, and they have a lot of unique properties. So for example, you can use things like Evasive Footwork in order to help you to get some extra AC and really deflect a lot of potential incoming attacks whilst you're trying to get into a decent position in order to make your assault. Likewise, things like Parry also help you to armor through things that would otherwise deal you significant damage. So this is part of the reason why I wanted to have Battle Master in the list. Since Monk is part of the core structure, you have access to Flurry of Blows, meaning all of your combo options are still available, but also remember that we've got a few levels of Battle Master in there, and that gets us access to Action Surge, which we're going to make use of in one of our later variations. So A-List is the variation you use when you want to keep up your pressure. Essentially what you've got is a bunch of charge moves, and you can run cancel out of them in order to get more advanced combinations. So in game terms, when it comes to D&D, you're going to be looking at something like Fainting Attack. So Fainting Attack allows you to apply that extra pressure by giving you an advantage on your next attack, and it also gives you additional damage when it comes to your superiority die as well. The additional damage from Fainting Attack is really nice for representing those charge up moves you have, but because they're supposed to be slow, therein lies the feint. When they go for the attack, you can take advantage of the opening and score that big hit. So when it comes to things like run cancels, it might go straight over your head if you're not a gamer. But what they're trying to tell you is you're basically doing a technique and then you're running out of it in order to continue a long combination. And the easy way to do this for a D&D game is to just use your Action Surge. Once you've got a few attacks on the go, you can then Action Surge into something new, because normally you wouldn't be able to get more attacks than you're typically entitled to, but because you've got the Action Surge, you can double up on the amount of attacks that you're using. So a lot of people will tend to gravitate towards Fisticuffs, and why not? It's a really good variation. There's some very powerful and quick combos in there, and it's a great way of chipping out your opponent and really dealing some significant damage with the techniques that are available within it. So the Fisticuffs variation gives you the Speed Bag combination, and it's great for dishing out tons of damage. It's when you want to be flurrying all the time. Just flurry until you can't flurry anymore. Also, there's nothing stopping you from using Action Surge with this as well. As you're flurrying away, you can use your Action Surge to get an additional attack in there. So you'll have your 2 main attacks, you'll have 2 more from Action Surge, then you'll have your bonus action for your flurry. So you're looking at 6 to get started with. Action Surging into dodge or Action Surging into disengage can really help you with your defensive options. So what you're looking at is you can go for a straight attack, and then you can Action Surge into one of these more defensive things to either move around or to impose disadvantage on your attacker. These are great ways of getting out of sticky situations. Alternatively, you can Action Surge into a grapple or shove. These are really good techniques to give you a natural advantage, so you're not relying on things like feinting attack. You can instead just go for the hard knockdown, and then everyone in the party who's melee attacking can get an advantage on the prone creature. Cage also has a fist bump move, which he uses then to enhance specific attacks. So what I want for this is Divine Favor. At this point you're going to have to probably resort to some monk weapons, but it's absolutely totally worth it for Divine Favor in my opinion. And if your DM's cool with you having some brass knuckles or something and just using the rules for mace, well then you're golden. I know that D4 damage doesn't sound like a lot, but extrapolated over a number of rounds and over a number of additional attacks, you're getting quite a lot of value out of it. Additionally, the War Domain has the War Priest ability, allowing you to spend one of your bonus actions to make an additional weapon attack. So it's absolutely worth it to just max out the attacks you're getting, use those bonus actions to get additional, and add all that Divine Favor damage on top of it as well. This is another strong and aggressive variation. You want to use things like your Channel Divinity as well. If you're going on the attack and you do happen to get that low roll, remember you can always add that Channel Divinity after you've seen what you've rolled. This helps you maximize your usage of things like Divine Favor. This way you're not wasting any potential turns and you're not losing out on any additional damage, because you can always have that backup to get you the extra bonuses that you need to land that strike on your target. Both A-List and Fisticuffs tend to have a very aggressive approach. They're both very pressure orientated. However, at least by building the character this way, you've got some variation. You can choose to swap between weapons or to go unarmed. This might not be what the character strictly does, but considering the fact that you have 2 variations that seem quite similar, being able to swap between unarmed and having weapon attacks doesn't seem like a really big deal to me. Stunt Double is my favourite variation for Cage. There's a lot of potential in there for jailing attacks where they can get hit from multiple angles where they can't defend. It also has the potential for combination extensions, but what it mainly gets used for is zoning. Every character in a role-playing game should really consider having both melee and ranged options. I've seen it happen so many times. People fall into the trap, they make themselves a specific character, and when the situation doesn't suit their build, they're left with almost nothing to do. For example, a character who is melee focused, maybe a greatsword wielder, can do great and significant damage, but the problem is, as soon as a flyer comes along, they're practically useless. Radiant Sunbolt is a really good start. At least you can start getting some ranged attacks in when you need them, but constantly sinking key points into double Radiant Sunbolt attacks isn't very cost effective. Sunbolt, however, is a good complement, especially if you've got something that you can use as a bonus action to go with it. So in this sense, we're going to want to go with something like Spiritual Weapon. This is a really good spell in general, even if you're not making these specific kind of characters. It's one of the few spells that actually has a time duration on it that doesn't require concentration. Also, because you can do things with it as bonus actions, it frees you up to do other things. Spiritual Weapon has a good initial casting range of 60 feet, allowing you to really get some damage in when creatures are at a distance. However, you might want to consider not casting it until they're a little bit closer. You can only move it about 20 feet per round, so it might struggle to keep up with some more mobile creatures. Keeping this spell in the mid-range is probably better because you can then move it when you need to. But don't forget also that if something is insistent on attacking you, you've still got your options like evasive footwork, allowing you to move away from that creature and get back to where your spiritual weapon is. In this sense, you can use your mobility to help compensate for some of the lack of range that the spell has after it's been cast. This variation is a really good opening strategy. When you're in that neutral spot where everyone's taking initiative, you still don't know exactly what the opponent's going to do. So one of your first casts could be the spiritual weapon. In this respect, regardless of what it decides to do, if it comes straight at you, if it decides to go for a more sneaky approach, if it can take to the air, then at least you've got options to start dealing with it. So there you have it, everyone's favourite Hollywood superstar. It's not always easy trying to get these characters exact, but at least we're pretty close to the mark. And even if these characters aren't your thing, at least there's some information in there that you can take away and hopefully apply to your D&D character. If you like the video, please leave a like. Anything you want to say about it, there are comments down below. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, why not consider doing so? Are the gamers among you excited for MK11? Will I get it? I don't know, maybe. You guys let me know if it's any good. If you guys have had success with this character or a similar build, let me know about it. And with all that being said, I will see you guys next time at the gaming table.